Bubba Wallace thought he had just pulled off one of the biggest finishes of his season. He crossed the line believing he had earned second place after surviving one of the wildest final laps of the year. But less than a minute later, everything changed. NASCAR erased the finish. A heartbreaking penalty dropped him all the way to 29th. Then, before anyone could fully process what had happened, Bubba Wallace walked straight over to Ty Gibbs for a heated conversation on pit road. Moments later, both drivers were explaining completely different versions of the same incident. So what actually happened? Was Bubba Wallace right to question NASCAR's decision? Did Ty Gibbs really cost him the race? Or is there more to this story than fans first realized? Stay with us until the end, because we're breaking down the controversial penalty, Bubba Wallace's honest reaction, Ty Gibbs's response, and why this dramatic finish has everyone talking. Before we get started, if you enjoy honest NASCAR coverage every day, make sure to subscribe to NASCAR Nation News, and let's jump into it. For most of Sunday's race at EchoPark Speedway, Bubba Wallace looked like a serious contender. The number 23 Toyota stayed near the front, collected valuable stage points, and positioned himself perfectly for one last charge when the white flag came out. Ryan Blaney led the field. Carson Hocevar was right there. Bubba Wallace saw an opening down the back stretch and went for it. As he moved to the inside, Ty Gibbs gave him a push from behind. The contact unsettled Bubba Wallace's car, sending it below the double yellow line before he gathered it back up entering the corner. When the checkered flag waved, Bubba Wallace crossed the finish line in second. For a few moments, it looked like an incredible result. But NASCAR officials immediately reviewed the move. Their ruling was simple. Bubba Wallace had gone below the yellow line while attempting to improve his position, which violated the superspeedway rule. His second-place finish disappeared. Instead, he was officially scored 29th, the last car on the lead lap, costing him 27 valuable championship points. Bubba Wallace wasn't arguing that he never went below the line. Instead, he challenged NASCAR's interpretation of the rule. Speaking after the race, he said, "It says advancing your position, which I did not do." He explained that the moment he realized where his car was heading, he immediately got on the brakes because he knew staying below the line would be a problem. According to Bubba Wallace, that move should have propelled us to the lead, and it didn't. He believed he never actually completed a pass, and therefore never gained the advantage NASCAR claimed he did. After reviewing data with crew chief Charles Denicky and the 2311 racing team, Bubba Wallace spent more than half an hour meeting with NASCAR officials. When he came back out, the decision stood. His response was short and direct. A penalty is a penalty. There would be no change to the finishing order. Even though the ruling didn't change, Bubba Wallace made it clear he wasn't trying to start an argument with NASCAR. He simply wanted to understand how the rule had been interpreted in that specific situation. From his perspective, there was a difference between attempting a move and actually completing a pass. That distinction was the foundation of his explanation after the race. While officials believed the rule had been applied correctly, Bubba Wallace left feeling that the circumstances of the final lap deserved a closer look. It was a respectful disagreement, but one that is likely to remain a talking point long after the checkered flag. But the penalty wasn't the only reason Bubba Wallace left frustrated. Another conversation was waiting on pit road. Ty Gibbs walked over to speak with Bubba Wallace after the race. From Bubba Wallace's point of view, the frustration had started much earlier. He believed Ty Gibbs had been too aggressive during the Stage 2 finish and again put him in a difficult position during the closing laps. Bubba Wallace explained exactly what he told Ty Gibbs. "I just said lift. I said there's an opportunity to give, and you didn't." Then he added, "Bro, you hit me square in the bumper. The block was well ahead, you seen it coming." Bubba Wallace clearly felt that Ty Gibbs had opportunities to avoid the contact, but chose to keep pushing anyway. He also made another comment that quickly spread across the NASCAR world. Talking about working together with another Toyota driver, Bubba Wallace said, "That's Toyota teammates. We don't race very well together." It was an honest assessment and showed how disappointed he was with how the race unfolded. Ty Gibbs, however, saw the situation very differently. According to Ty Gibbs, he approached Bubba Wallace after the race for one reason: to apologize. Ty Gibbs said, "I went to tell him sorry because he cleared himself and then, unfortunately, he showed a lot of disrespect. He didn't stop there." Ty Gibbs also reminded everyone that on the final lap he was actually trying to help Bubba Wallace. In his words, "I tried to help him out there at the end and push him to win." So while Bubba Wallace believed Ty Gibbs had made the situation worse, Ty Gibbs insisted he had apologized for the earlier contact and even tried to help deliver the victory in the closing moments. That difference in perspective is what makes this story so interesting. Neither driver denied the contact happened. Neither denied the conversation. The disagreement is about responsibility. Bubba Wallace believes Ty Gibbs failed to give him room when it mattered most. Ty Gibbs believes Bubba Wallace blamed him for incidents that weren't entirely his fault. Meanwhile, the biggest loser may have been Bubba Wallace's playoff position. Instead of leaving EchoPark with one of his strongest finishes of the season, he walked away with only 9 points from the race. The penalty also cut deeply into the cushion he had built above the playoff cut line. Bubba Wallace admitted that's now a concern, saying the drivers behind him are looking at the standings and licking their chops because the fight is getting much tighter. The debate over the penalty will likely continue for days. Some fans believe NASCAR correctly enforced one of its clearest superspeedway rules. Others believe Bubba Wallace never actually gained a position and was punished too harshly for trying to avoid a bigger crash. One thing is certain: a race that looked like a huge success for Bubba Wallace ended with disappointment, controversy, and a tense exchange between two Toyota drivers. And with the playoff battle becoming tighter every week, every point from this moment forward could make the difference between fighting for a championship and missing the postseason altogether. What do you think? Did NASCAR make the right call on Bubba Wallace's penalty? Or should his second-place finish have counted? And who do you think was right in the exchange between Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to NASCAR Nation News, and we'll see you in the next one.